Chosen one, lock your focus right here. That heaviness you woke up with this morning, that was not depression. And that deep, exhausted sigh that left your body before your feet even touched the floor, that was not you giving up. That was your spirit sending a distress signal so loud that it interrupted the algorithm of heaven. Listen to me. You did not just wake up tired today. You woke up in the middle of a divine recalibration. Somewhere between your dreams and your alarm clock, you made a silent decision to disconnect from the matrix of your struggle. And because you finally let go in the spirit, God stepped in to take over in the natural. He did not cancel your plans to hurt you. He canceled them because the old you is no longer qualified to walk into the new season He just prepared. The glitch you feel in your reality right now is the sound of a timeline collapse. Let your spirit listen, because we are about to decode exactly what you just triggered. Go back to that moment at 7 a.m. this morning. I want you to zoom into that specific split second. You were sitting on the edge of your bed. Your feet were hovering above the floor, not wanting to touch the cold ground yet. You looked at your phone. Maybe you saw a notification, or maybe you just saw the time, and you felt a wave of paralysis. It wasn't laziness, it was a spiritual weight. You felt a pressure in your chest, right behind your sternum, like an invisible seatbelt locking up because the car slammed on the brakes. You thought something was wrong with you. You thought, I am back here again. I am fighting this battle again. But chosen one, that pressure was not the enemy attacking you. That was the mercy stop. See, you have been driving at 100 miles per hour down a road that was leading to a cliff. You were pushing, striving, forcing doors open, and trying to make things happen in your own strength. And this morning, God looked at the road ahead. He saw the trap the enemy had set for you at noon. He saw the emotional burnout waiting for you at 6 p.m. And He loved you too much to let you keep driving. So He slammed the brakes. That cancellation, that delay, that feeling that everything is stuck, that is your protection. You need to understand the theology of what is happening to you. In Jeremiah 29:11, a verse you have heard 1,000 times, God says He knows the plans He has for you, plans to give you a future and a hope. But we miss the depth of this promise because we read it in English. We think hope is just a wish. We think hope is crossing our fingers and saying, I hope it works out. But in the original Hebrew, the word used for hope there is tikva. Tikva does not mean a wish. Tikva literally means a cord, or a rope, or a line. It is the same word used for the scarlet rope that Rahab hung out of her window to save her family when the walls of Jericho came crashing down. When God says He is giving you a hope, He is saying, I am throwing you a rope. I am throwing you a lifeline to pull you out of the pit you have dug for yourself. This morning, when you felt everything stop, that was the tikva tightening. That was the rope pulling taut. You felt the jerk of the rescue. The plans you made for yourself were dragging you down, so God canceled them to pull you up. Before we go any deeper, I need you to make a commitment to yourself right now. Do not click away. Do not let the distraction of this world pull you back into the noise. I am going to show you exactly how to stabilize this shift so you do not crash. By the end of this video, you will have the neurological and spiritual protocol to turn this temporary pause into a permanent promotion. You are going to learn how to access the mind of Christ on demand, so stay with me. This is your training. Now, here is the mystery. God has thrown the rope many times before. He has tried to stop you many times before. But why today? Why did the timeline collapse this morning and not yesterday? Why not last month? What was different about this morning? The answer lies in what you did in the secret place of your mind. Go back to the edge of the bed. After the sigh, after the heaviness, there was a fleeting thought that crossed your mind. It was raw. It was unfiltered. It might have even felt a little bit sinful. You thought to yourself, I do not care anymore. I am done. If it happens, it happens. If it does not, it does not. I cannot do this anymore. You stopped fighting. You stopped trying to control the outcome. You stopped trying to be the general of your own war. In that moment of exhaustion, you entered into a state of micro-surrender. Religion tells you that you need to pray a perfect prayer to move God. Religion tells you that you need to have high faith and shout at the devil. But the kingdom operates on truth in the inward parts. When you admitted you were powerless, when you emotionally resigned from the position of CEO of your life, you handed the keys back to the Creator. That thought, "I do not care anymore," was not a statement of defeat. It was the password. It was the activation code. It was you finally taking your hands off the steering wheel so that the tikva rope could pull you to safety. You did not fail this morning. You successfully surrendered. And that surrender created a vacuum that the power of God rushed in to fill. But we have to look at this through the lens of how you are built. Because you are not just a spirit, you are a spirit housed in a body with a brain. And what happened to you spiritually this morning triggered a massive biological shift in your nervous system. This is the neuroscience of letting go. For the last few years, you have been operating primarily in beta brainwave state. Beta is high alert. Beta is stress. Beta is survival mode. It is the frequency of problem solving, anxiety, and constant analysis. When you are in beta, you are fighting the world with your limited human logic. You are burning cortisol. You are aging your cells. You are blocking the flow of revelation because your mind is too loud. But this morning, when you hit that wall of exhaustion, when you sighed that heavy sigh and surrendered, your brain involuntarily shifted gears. You dropped out of high beta and you slipped into theta. Theta is the borderline between the conscious and the subconscious. It is the twilight state. It is the state where deep healing happens. It is the state where you dream. And biblically, it is the state of revelation. It is the frequency where the voice of God becomes audible. When Paul says in Romans 12:2, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind," the Greek word he uses for renewing is anakainosis. This word is construction terminology. It means a renovation. It implies a return to the original blueprint. It means rewiring the house. When you dropped into that theta state of surrender this morning, you allowed the Holy Spirit to begin an anakainosis process. You allowed him to start rewiring your neural pathways back to their original divine design. He began to overwrite the trauma loops. He began to erase the poverty mindset. He began to cancel the old programs of failure. That is why you felt the glitch. You were literally being reprogrammed in real time. The old version of you, the one addicted to struggle, was being overwritten by the new version of you, the one designed for dominion. The plans had to be cancelled because the person who made those plans no longer exists. You are being renewed. You are being renovated. But here is the problem, and this is the trap that catches almost every chosen one. You only access that theta state, that divine frequency of recalibration, because you crashed. You only surrendered because you had no strength left. You hit the wall, and the impact knocked you into the spirit. Does God require you to burn out just to hear him? Does he require you to reach the end of your rope before he can save you? Is the only way to access this timeline collapse through pain and exhaustion? The enemy wants you to believe that. He wants you to think that this power is only available in the valley of the shadow of death. He wants you to cycle between striving in your own strength and crashing in exhaustion. He wants you stuck in that loop forever. But God has a better way. God does not want you to visit the throne room only when you are broken. He wants you to live there. He wants you to be able to access this state of divine rest and supernatural power while you are standing strong. What if I told you there is a way to access that theta frequency without the crash? What if you could trigger this timeline collapse on demand, scientifically and spiritually, without having to go through a breakdown first? You stumbled into the secret chamber this morning by accident, but now I am going to show you how to walk in there on purpose. This is the secret of kings, and it is the key to holding the territory you are about to take. What I am about to share with you allows you to access that divine theta state on demand without the breakdown. Think of it as a digital tuning fork. When you strike a tuning fork, every other instrument in the room eventually vibrates at that same pitch. You do not have to force them. It happens through the law of resonance.